Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rangers of Respite. It is Friday, and I have a good one today. Um, it is from a distillery that I am a little bit of a fan of, as you may be able to tell based on the bottles that surround me. What am I talking about today? It is Catoctin Creek's Flagship Single Barrel Rye Whiskey. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this channel and you'd like to support it beyond the typical likes, comments, and subscriptions, and all of those things really help my channel. Um, it helps push me in the algorithm, and I get to learn things from you and sometimes share a little bit of knowledge that I have with you in the comments below. But if you would like to support us in a more concrete manner, I'm selling these and these uh, ballpoint twist pens and rollerball pens turned from a French oak cognac cask, which held cognac for 45 years before being used to finish a peated American Single Malt Whiskey in the Pacific Northwest. If you know, you know. And I have a TeePublic store where you can buy merch with my channel logo and an alternate logo on it. Links are, as always, are in the description down below. And let's talk about this. While I have several single barrel Catoctin Creeks, there's I think that's a single barrel. Pretty sure that is. I think that is, and I know that is. Um, yeah, I mean, I've got a handful of single barrel Catoctin Creeks, but this is their flagship single barrel. And what that means is this is the single barrel that is a regular part of their product portfolio. So, like, a lot of brands will have a small batch and a single barrel, and typically the single barrel is the upscale version of, or not upscale, but the step up version of their small batch. In the case of Catoctin Creek, their base version is this single barrel. It is bottled at 40% alcohol by volume, which makes it nice and approachable. On the nose, you have nice light stone fruit, a little bit of like a rye grain funk sitting in there, some baking spice, some star anise, and some fennel, a little bit of herbaceousness. Absolutely lovely. It's a nice, inviting nose. It really doesn't overwhelm you, and it is 100% rye grain rye whiskey. On the palate, you get more of that nice stone fruit. Again, this is a very approachable rye whiskey. This is one of the rye whiskeys that I use to introduce people to rye whiskeys, particularly outside of the 95.5 um, sort of MGPI sourced whiskeys. And there's nothing wrong with that stuff. It is a perfectly acceptable whiskey. This is better. This gives you some nice nuance. You've got that little bit of stone fruit, something of a like honeyed note. You get some like baking spice clearly from the barrel. Um, and you get that nice core of that nice, rich, deep rye flavor. It is super approachable. It's light. It's easy drinking. It's not my favorite offering from Catoctin Creek. That said, as you might be able to tell, Catoctin Creek makes amazing rye whiskey. This is a good example of them putting out a whiskey that is approachable, that any whiskey drinker or even non-whiskey drinker can pick up and enjoy. It's got all this nice rye character, but it's approachable. It's lightly sweet. It's got that nice rich stone fruit, that little bit of, like, funky wryness that's, like, a key part of why I love Catoctin Creek, and it's got that baking spice core, as well as a little bit of, like, that honeyed caramelly note that helps, you know, make it more approachable for people who maybe aren't really all in on, like, a heavy duty big rye. The finish is mid-length. It's not too long, but it's still got some finish to it. It really is herbaceous on the finish. It's got, like, a fennel, a greenery note, not like what a lot of people can call the crafty green note, but like, when you're walking in the woods in spring and, like, the trees are nice and green and bright and there's a little bit of pollen in the air, that's what I'm talking about. That nice greenery being outside sort of note. I don't know how to describe it. And that baking spice that's around the edges just keeps going. Like, that's honestly the longest living part of the finish, and it's one of the reasons why I like this stuff. An absolutely fantastic rye whiskey. I always ask and answer 3 questions with every whiskey that I review. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely. While this is not my favorite Catoctin Creek whiskey, it is still a great rye whiskey, and I would say if you're used to going and picking up a bottle of Bullet or, I don't know, a barely rye whiskey out of Kentucky, like Jim Beam Rye, I absolutely implore you to pick up a bottle of this with a bottle of the Distiller's Cut because they are fantastic whiskeys. Second question, do I think it's a good value? At under $50 for a craft rye whiskey that is 100% rye, that is distilled, aged, and bottled in Purcellville, Virginia, absolutely. It's hard to beat that value, not just because it is one of my favorite distilleries and it is, you know, a local-ish craft whiskey, but because you just can't get whiskey of a high quality without paying for it. And yeah, a lot of the big guys make fine whiskey, but this is really good. And I think that it is worth every penny of that. I think it's like 46.75 after tax. Great stuff. And the last question, do I recommend it? Yes, always. I always recommend Catoctin Creek. If you're looking for a good rye whiskey to try that is a high content rye, 100% rye whiskey, um, the single barrel, flagship single barrel, the distiller's cut, distiller's edition, and the cask strength are all fantastic. And it happens to be the correct time of year. That rabble rouser. And rabble rouser is always a solid pick and a great value at its price. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's see what we're going to be reviewing on Wednesday. Let's see. Click that. Always takes me a second to get this set up. I'm going to hide this choice and spin again, see what we get. Now, as you may have noticed, I have a lot of Catoctin Creek behind me, but this is not all of them. There are four four bottles of interesting. There are 4 bottles of Catoctin Creek whiskey and 1 bottle of Catoctin Creek brandy across the room from me that are not behind me. And I haven't I'm out of the, Watershed gin, and I haven't tried the Shenandoah gin. But let's see what's coming up on Wednesday. It is another rye whiskey, Mother Earth Spirits Rye Whiskey. I feel like I capitalized or missed capitalizing one of the letters on that. Oh well. That is another interesting whiskey, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. In the meantime, as always, there are links to my Etsy shop and my TeePublic in the description down below. I really appreciate all the support. Sales of those items go to supporting this channel and the Single Malt Frontier, because not everything that we talk about on the Single Malt Frontier is provided by our guests. Frequently, it's stuff that we are, out of pocket for. And most of the reviews on this channel are 100% out of my own pocket. With all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, it has been great talking to you. It has been great to tell you about one of my favorite products. Well, a fantastic product from one of my favorite producers. Until next time, stay happy, stay geeks. Sláinte.